called mirroring and labeling, okay? If you miss this part, or if you get this part, and you leave here, you'll be good. If you miss this part, you're gonna struggle. So mirroring and labeling. Has anybody heard those two terms before? We've taken it from some speakers that we've had in the past. So mirroring and labeling, and we'll talk about one first. So labeling, okay, starts off with it sounds like, looks like, feels like, okay? What does it start off with? Sounds like, looks like, feels like. Say it again. This is look like, feels like. It's very important that you use the word it, not I, okay? I makes it very personal. It makes it very objective to what you're talking about, okay? You will be able to say such few words at post-estimate to have people talking that it's going to blow your mind how much more information you know about customers. Those two role plays, these are the two things scenarios in which you would likely want to use it. Sounds like, looks like, feels like, okay? So, scenario, Isaiah, that's awesome, man. Send that over to me, I'm going to review it with my wife. Well, it sounds like your wife has a big role in this decision for you. Let me do that again. It sounds like your wife has a big role in this decision for you. Now, it's okay for customers to correct you, right? You can be wrong about this, by the way. It's called labeling. You can be wrong about labeling. Being wrong is very healthy. The goal is not to be right. People have this dopamine kick when they correct you, right? People love to correct other people. So if they correct you, they're actually telling you that not necessarily that you're wrong, but here's better information, Alex. No, my wife's not making a decision. She's just going to look at the price and make sure I'm not an idiot. Well, that's good to know, right? He just told me his wife, and I would have thought, well, his wife's, I got to make sure the wife knows about this, and no, actually, he's just going to verify. How deep that is hard to gather. Wow, this is a really impressive quote. Call me back tomorrow, and we'll see if we can get a deal done. Oh, it feels like you're going to be using me for your project, David. Well, Alex, I did get a quote that was $2,000 lower. Oh, he just told me information that I assumed that he was going to use me, but now I know information. So sounds like, looks like, feels like. Okay, say that out loud again. Sounds like, looks like, feels like. It's very important to use it. You can be wrong, okay? But the goal is not to be right with the assumption, and if you are right, the likely customer say, yeah, that's right. If you ever get a that's right, that's super powerful. If you ever get a you're right, that's what as husbands, we typically, husbands typically say to their wife, because it's you're right, you're right. So you're right is kind of when you deal with nagging, but that's right is a very powerful response that you can get from people because they think that you agree with what they're talking about. Yeah, man, I have no idea what it's going to cost. I'm on the walk around. I have no idea what it's going to cost. That's why I called you. Sounds like you got a budget in mind, David. I do. Yeah, I was hoping this would be $8,000 to $10,000. Well, it feels like you put a lot of thought into that price range. Yeah, I read some stuff online. In fact, I've had two guys over here, and they've both been $9,000. Feels like you're probably going to make a decision in the next couple of days about who you're going to use. Yeah, I'm going to figure out who I'm doing. Well, it sounds like you've really thought through who you're going to use, and you probably have some very clear protocols and check boxes that you're going to make a decision off of. This sounds a little exaggerated, but it's not far off. In fact, customers have no idea what you're doing now because you're simply asking a labeling type statement to get them talking. I told you guys this would not be hard. It's very simple, but if the main goal is to leave that quote knowing as much information as you can, really to know if they're going to use you or not, what better way to do that than just having some simple type dynamics that teaches you how to think, not to handle every single objection. Because those three things, the labeling piece of it, will allow you to handle a lot of objections, okay? Hey, the reason I'm asking about price, because I've never had a customer excited to write a $10,000 check. No one likes spending money, especially on home services. So go ahead and let them know. No one's oh my God, concrete, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I don't think customers ever quite get that excited. So just realize customers aren't incredibly looking forward to getting this project. They're looking forward to, but really spending the money. Joke around with that. Hey, the reason I'm kind of talking about price is because you're probably like most of my other customers. Again, vision, decision, I'm a customer, you're a customer, the other customers. No one's excited to get the concrete done. So really trying to understand what matters to you, because if price is the most important, we can certainly have a discussion about that. But if you are looking forward to getting this job done beyond spending the price, I want to make sure that I meet those needs that are going to help kind of determine that. So no one's looking forward to the price. Just remember that, from spending the money. So adding as much value to that makes them feel, again, theory of the least and stuff. So next thing I want to talk about is what's called mirroring. Mirroring. So mirroring is using the last 1 to 3 words, and sometimes the most important 1 to 3 words of someone's sentence back to them. So what that would sound like, man, like, I am just very cautious about this project. I got screwed by the last contractor. You got screwed by the last contractor? Yeah, like, you wouldn't believe it. I wrote him a check. He said he was going to do it. He showed up one day, never saw him again. Never saw him again? Nope. I can't get a hold of this guy, right? I never should have used this guy. So you will use mirroring and labeling in tandem because you go, well, it sounds like you're really on edge about who you choose now. Heck yeah, I want to know everything about you. I want to copy your driver's license, right? So you will use these two, mirroring and labeling, in tandem to help, again, gather information to help leave there with a goal of knowing like how to close the deal, what customer think. So mirroring, it's the last 1 to 3 words of the sentence is usually what it comes down to, or the kind of main part of what they tell you, okay? Labeling and mirroring go hand in hand. You know, you don't want to use too much of one. And again, your conversations are going to have like maybe 1 to 2 mirrors and 1 to 2 labels at any point. So what you're seeing now is an over-exaggeration of it. So, you know, if you think this would be really awkward or a conversation not going to go that long, that's to a point true. But you will use this at different points through the whole period. Well, it sounds like, you know, having a kid is kind of taught you about what you do want and what you don't want in life. So cool. So mirroring and labeling go hand in hand. Mirroring is super powerful when someone explains something to you like very direct and you want them to keep talking about it, right? You can use one before the other. Again, mirroring is the last 1 to 3 words of what they say, or like 99 percentile, right? Like, and customers, especially customers with like high IQ, like they get wrapped up in this stuff, like because they're usually low in EQ. But so I want to do a little bit of mirroring and label practice. So now use these two together.